Hey guys, welcome to No Filters, Just Freedom, the show for people who are ready to stop shrinking, start rising, and live with unapologetic audacity. My name is Jasmine, I'm a life coach, and I'm here to guide us all through this journey of bold, authentic living.
Happy Monday, everybody, and welcome back to No Filters, Just Freedom, where we choose to rebel against societal norms and fight to be the best version of ourselves. Today, we're going to talk about how to not only make relationships last, but actually thrive. The topic, partner strength, i.e. going from that's your problem to that's our problem we can solve between bites of takeout. Because let's be real, love isn't finding someone to share your Netflix password with. It's about finding someone who's got your back when life throws a tantrum. Someone who doesn't just coexist with you, but chooses you daily. So if you've ever felt like a roommate with benefits situation is happening instead of true partnership, stick around. We're breaking down how to turn the me versus you into the us versus the problem with a little help from the TEAM acronym. So here are some signs that you might be more roommates with benefits instead of partners. 1, your most meaningful conversation this week was about the grocery list. Now, I know that is super hard, and I know it is something that me and my husband struggle with because that's what happens when you have a 2-year-old. You start worrying about, what's in the house, who can eat when, do we have stuff for the child, what does this do for our budget? This seems like it's a really big deal because it affects so many things in our relationship. But at the end of the day, it's just groceries. At the end of the day, it's just a basic communication. It doesn't have to be the end all be all. And if that's the highlight of our week together, then we have really messed something up. And not only have we messed it up, but we have completely limited our social interaction with each other. And that's something that so many partnerships fall into. Let me hammer out the details of life. Let me spend more time focusing on the chore list, the laundry, the groceries, the whatever else you have planned for the day vibe. What's your schedule look like versus what mine looks like? And not actually talking about the real important stuff that matters. Stay away from that black hole. Number 2, if quote unquote date night means sitting in silence on your phones together, then you are too far gone. Like, I know that we live in a day and age where we are attached to our phones, and it's really funny to see different videos and, oh, I want to show you this TikTok video, and oh, have you seen this Instagram reel, and all those things. But that's not actually connecting with your partner. I can sit in the room with anybody and watch videos. Heck, I can do that while sitting in the lobby of a doctor's appointment. There's probably 3 or 4 of us sitting there watching videos or playing a game. That does not create connection. That's just 2 people that happen to be sharing space. That is not what you want in a partnership. You are more than people that just happen to be breathing the same air. And lastly, if you're keeping score more carefully than the NBA playoffs, like I did dishes on Tuesday and Thursday, where were you? It's your turn to take the trash out. All of these things, then you might need a relationship reality check. It's not about who does what when. It's about feeling like we're doing it together, feeling like, oh, I'm willing to do this today because it needs to be done, knowing full well that if I'm unavailable to do it one time, you will still take care of it for me. If you don't feel like that person is in it with you to fight with you and you're keeping score of when you did it versus when they did it, you're having a problem. And you are more roommates with benefits instead of partners. And because a true partner isn't just someone who remembers your coffee order, though bless those people. It's someone who actively builds with you. They stand together with you even when it's easier to walk away. Because life gets hard, and sometimes it's really easy to walk away from situations that have nothing to do with you. When you're like, this only affects me because I choose to let it affect me, you know what? It's too much for me, I'm out. And you leave that person hanging. No, a true partner stands in the storm with you and says, we are going to battle this together, not just you by yourself. A true partner supports growth. They support your growth, their growth, and the relationship's growth. They know that the unity that you're creating is only great when each one of you is the best version of yourself. So I want you to be your best version, and I want to be my best version so that we can love and cater and grow this thing we're calling life together. And lastly, they fight fair. No lobos, no passive aggressive, no silent treatments, just how do we fix this? This is probably the most important thing because we often lack healthy communication in our society. We're good at talking about all kinds of random stuff. And did you see that on TV? And this is my favorite show. And this is what I was watching and seeing on social media and all of that stuff. But at the end of the day, when the doors are closed and nobody's around, are you able to sit and have a possibly difficult conversation with the person that you care about? Are you able to get down to the nitty-gritty and work through it together like a real group project in school versus just being like, well, here's your part and here's my part and we'll just come together at the end? You want a partner that's there with you to fix it even when it hurts. But here's the good news. Turning your relationship into a teammate sport rather than being a spectator doesn't require grand gestures. No need to recreate that whole Titanic flying scene in your living room. Just start by using the team method. It's way easier than couples therapy and cheaper than divorce lawyers. So here's your relationship cheat code. T. T is for touch. Not a full body massage unless you're feeling super generous that day, but just a handhold, a shoulder squeeze, something to physically reconnect. The kind of physical contact that says, I acknowledge your existence beyond the person who steals the covers every night. Science actually says that touch releases oxytocin, which is like a cuddle loving hormone, and it actually lowers our stress levels. You want somebody that sees you and wants you and loves you more than just, I happen to be around you. Oh, I'm touching you because I'm walking by you, and oh, I'm interested in something sexual and therefore I'm putting my hands on you. No. This is a person that's like, hey, we're in the same room and I just want you to know that I love you. I just want you to know that I see you. I just want you to know that I'm paying attention to you. This is really important when you have to have a conversation. Maybe you have to have a fight about something or whatever else. That person is like, hey, I'm just gonna lay my hand on you to recognize that I am fully present in this moment with you. It seems trivial, but it can make all the difference in laying the groundwork for something that might be difficult to do. And here's a pro tip. If your partner recoils from your touch like a cactus, i.e. people like me that are not physical touch lovers, maybe just start with a pinky touch and work your way up. This is something my husband and I work on every day. I am not the biggest fan of physical touch, and his love language is physical touch. We have to work that one out all the time. And so when we're having important conversations, I have to make an active effort to be like, okay, let's just create this connection real quick so we both are present in this moment, and it doesn't have to be reckless, and I don't have to feel squeezed and overbearing and whatever else. Like, we can make it work to show each other that we are valued and we are currently present. Then you have E. E is for educate. Share some fun facts. This can be a random fact or a really hard truth that needs to be said. Things like, did you know otters hold hands while sleeping so they don't drift apart? #relationship goals. Or learning, leaving wet towels on the bed is a biologically repulsive thing to humans. See, we're learning. Okay? When we educate each other, maybe I'm just sharing parts of my day with you. It can be something as simple as, hey, how was your day? Tell me about it. And I'm leaving space for you to enlighten me on what's happening. Okay? If that's a better E word for you other than educate, enlighten, show me what else is happening in your world because I'm not in your mind and I don't know what's happening. So give me an opportunity to see the world through your eyes. And the good news for this is that when you do it right, if you're having a difficult conversation and you've laid the groundwork with touch, the hard truth doesn't have to be so prickly, It doesn't have to be so aggressive. It can just be like hey, I just wanted to let you know that this was something that I was thinking about. Hey, I know this might not be that big of a deal to you, but it kind of is a big deal to me. Pro tip, share more fun and positive facts than hard truths. Because when you're someone like me and your love language is words of affirmation, your words can cut. Your words can make all the difference in the world. And it might not be your intention, but your impact can be biting. The truth is you can catch more flies with honey than vinegar. So make sure that 90% of it is fun and uplifting so that when you say something that might be a little bit more difficult to swallow, it's okay because it's not like that's the only thing you said to me. It's not like, every time we talk, you have something negative to say. Absolutely not. Most of the time you say something really positive and awesome. So now I feel really confident in the hard truth you just want to share with me in this quick moment. It's not personal. A is for appreciation. This is where you gotta dig a little deeper than "you're so hot" or "nice butt, I like the way you look in those jeans." Try something as simple as "I appreciate how you handled that tough call today," or "I appreciate how you didn't murder me when I ate your leftovers." You know, these statements seem stupid and they seem like they don't actually matter, but they matter to everyone, not just people whose love language is physical touch or acts of service, okay? Or words of affirmation. I mean, giving these words to people makes them feel seen and loved and heard. It makes all people feel seen and loved and heard. Pro tip here, specificity is key, okay? One time I have a desk, and this desk is the catch-all for everything in our house. That's how it happens. And so it's really easy to just drop stuff on there, throw it there, put it there and say you're gonna come back and pick it up, and you never do. It becomes this black hole of nothingness. And so I walked past it one day and was like, okay, this is getting out of control. I need to clean this whole house, but I don't have the energy to clean the house, so I'm just gonna start with this desk, okay? So I came in, organized some stuff, separated things, I put it away, all of a sudden I found the cover of the desk. I found the table, which is crazy. And I had things in situations where they need to be, and it looked like a working spot again. And oh, look, there's my laptop hidden underneath whatever was there. Now, my husband is the clean organizer one of the relationship, okay? He likes things neat and orderly and in their space. And then if he could have his way, everything would be completely minimalistic, because then you would have less stuff to have to put away. It would all just be bare minimum. Okay, so he loves when something is clean and organized. So he sees what I have done, and he actually looked at me and said, "Hey, babe, I noticed that that desk got cleaned and you did that. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much for taking time to do that." When you want to talk about filling somebody's cup, okay, it was very specific. It was, "Hey, I noticed you did this. You took time out to make this happen." He didn't say I did it for him. He didn't say that, "Oh, I started cleaning the house and he noticed." Okay. He didn't say, "Oh, you cleaned the desk and so maybe I can help you next time clean other stuff so more gets done." He didn't do any of that. He said, "I noticed that you did A and I appreciate it because of B." Very, very simple. And a bigger issue for most relationships is that you can't repeat things, okay? There's no repeating in certain types of appreciation. You cannot say every day, "Thank you for doing the dishes," because at the end of the day, it just feels like, oh yeah, you noticed, you acknowledged I did the dishes. That's the thing. A is not for acknowledgement. It's for appreciation. It's for valuing. Okay. And if we keep saying thank you for random things and you don't actually put any specificity behind it, or you keep repeating it over and over again, it loses its importance. It loses its intensity. And so we want to appreciate people with specifics, and we don't want to repeat it so they know that they're being seen every moment of every day. And finally is for metrics. This is where you take time to share something that either bothers you or concerns you. This is the civilized adult communication instead of passive-aggressive post-it notes all over the house. This doesn't happen in the moment of the offense. So it's given both parties time to process and think through thoughts and their future goals to help alleviate this struggle. You can try things like, "When you leave 37 cups around the house, I feel like a janitor in a coffee shop." Instead of simply, glaring at that cup and glaring at that person and waiting for something to change. Or you can even say, "I've been feeling overwhelmed by chores. Can we brainstorm to fix it?" The goal here is to take the overwhelming emotion out of it. We're going to take the intensity, anger, or frustration out of it, and we're going to communicate the importance behind it. "Hey, this thing that you're doing doesn't just drive me crazy." We're going to be specific. "It makes me feel like X, Y, and Z. And I don't like living that way. I don't like feeling this way." And then you finish it with, "Can we brainstorm to fix this?" I don't want to just say it and leave it there. I want to change it. And I want to change it with you. I'm not accusing you of something and leaving you hanging. I'm not being like, everywhere you go, you just leave a dirty cup. You can't even make it to the sink and then leave it there and expect something to change. We're not berating. We're expressing a concern and then going, how do we fix this? Okay. And sometimes the compromise is something just really basic, and it might not, that's the whole point of compromise, is that it might not be everything you want, but it does get the job done. A perfect example is early on in our relationship. Not only did my husband not get his clothes to the hamper, I don't know how someone manages to leave their clothes 3 feet from the hamper. You didn't just leave it in random places. You almost made it. I don't know how that happens. Either way, not only would your clothes not make it to the hamper and I'd find them all over the house, but he never helped me with laundry. So it was like a never-ending stockpile and finding things, and it was always unorganized, and there was always stuff there, and there were towels, and I couldn't. I just couldn't. It was too much for me. Okay. Now, in the moment, I did not handle that. We did not have a team acronym. Okay. We were not a team yet. And I was upset and I said a lot of hurtful things. But the point for me was I'm overwhelmed by this laundry and your lack of caring for what it requires me to do it. And I need you to see me more. I need you to help things be better. Okay, that was what I was feeling. That's what I needed to say. But I was too busy ranting and raving about, I don't understand how you can. And so when I calmed down, I can't even say when we calmed down, when I calmed down, because he was looking at me like I was crazy. We got to actually have a productive conversation about, okay, what are some ways that can take the pressure off picking up around the house and laundry off of me so that I don't feel like a glorified maid. Okay. And we went back and forth. And the hilarious thing is that the compromise that we currently work with, that we've been doing for a couple of years now, like 3 years, is that he actually will clean his work clothes at work. Now, in my world, you didn't necessarily help me with laundry because now we're doing 2 sets of laundry, because it's not like you did the laundry. It's not like you came in and were like if I got what I wanted, it would be oh, my bad. If I see laundry, I'll put a load in. Like, you do it. You actually step to the plate and do it. The same way you see dirty dishes in the sink, throw a load of laundry in there. That would be an 100% win for me, right? And 100% win for him would be, I don't ever want to hear you talk about laundry ever again. Because he was like, this is stupid and I don't want to have this conversation. So, but what we ended up working through is he's like, oh, how I'm doing it and my clothes are causing her stress. So I'm going to remove my clothes from the situation. While that seems counterintuitive and frustrating, I had no idea how much that was actually going to give me peace. I didn't realize when we were making that compromise. I don't think he realized how big of a deal that was. And I didn't realize how much I would appreciate that, because now I don't got to walk around the house finding his clothes. He took them with him. He cleans them. So when I go to do laundry, I just ask if there's some basic stuff, He was home for a few days and he wore regular clothes, not work clothes, I don't mind cleaning those. They're not everywhere. I don't have to pick up. He's got his own towels and sheets and everything for work. He cleans those. And all of a sudden, my stress levels went down tenfold. Because of a basic compromise. It sounds so stupid, but again, we're trying to alleviate having conversations about laundry and not making that the most meaningful conversation we had all week. And Jesus, if I had known the team acronym and while we were trying to work to be a we could have saved so many fights early on in our marriage. Just truth. But the point I'm making is that the issue here is that it's not a complaint, it's a collaborative problem-solving session. Okay, metrics is where you come in and you actually fight to fix the problem. You're not just venting, you're not just complaining, you're actually fighting to fix the problem. This is so much easier to do when you have done the T for touch, the E for educate, the A for appreciation, because you're just building goodness. You're setting really healthy foundations to where when you actually have to fix a real problem, it's cool. You've built people up before they think you're tearing them down. Because at the end of the day, love is a collaboration. Okay. It isn't 50-50. It's 100 with both sides giving all they have. And you know what? Some days it might feel like 80-20, and that's okay as long as you're both showing up in the relationship. But people that tell you relationships are 50-50 are kind of setting you up for failure, because then you're upset when you feel like you're giving 80%, the other person's giving less and whatever. No, 100. You both show up with everything you have all the time. That is how a partnership works. It is how we did group projects in school. It's how if you ever played sports in school, everybody's got to show up and do their job 100%. You can't be carrying one weak link and think the whole vision is going to work out the way it's supposed to. Okay, here's some signs that you're actually a team. You celebrate the wins together. Look, babe, we paid off that debt. Look at us. Our budget is working. I am proud of us. okay? We are celebrating this as a unit because the unit did something together, not just you and me. You reframe struggles together, okay? You're gonna reframe them. You're gonna think about them in different ways. How can we tackle this? Not how do you change what you're doing so we can make it work? That's not how you know. We have a situation, it's affecting the unit. How can we tackle this? And then you protect the us, okay? The unit. You have to protect what is sacred. So this means no trash talking each other to your friends. And I know this can be really hard, okay? We're not saying you can't talk to your friends. We're saying we're not going to gossip about your relationship. Here's the thing. And I learned this with my family and I saw it with friends, and it's super important, okay? My parents always had this belief that you stay out of people's marriages. My dad used to say that a good relationship should be like a rose bush. It's beautiful and people want to touch, but when they stick their hands in there, they get hit with thorns, okay? It's pretty to touch. You love my stuff. I want to show it off, but you don't get to come in and invade the unit. This matters because you learn very quickly that while you are venting about your partner, there's a good probability that you and your partner are going to work it out and get back together. But the problem is when you're venting and giving all of the worst attributes to your friends, they're going to have a tendency to pick you and not like that person. Now, what does it look like with you back with that person and you're happy, then they still hate them? You're setting everybody up for failure. So that way your two groups of people in your life can coexist happily because you're not out here berating and trashing the person that you actually care about. Look, you can be frustrated. You can vent to your friends like we all do. But one of the things that I try to do all the time is if I'm talking to my best friend, first of all, I will do a sandwich in a heartbeat, okay? I will start with something positive, vent all of my negative, and finish with another positive in a moment. Just as a reminder to both of us, I care about this man, okay? I know that's hard. I know it's frustrating, but I gotta remind everybody that he is my partner. I value him. And yes, the way he walked away from those dishes as if they did not exist drove me insane. And it feels like it's a recurring thing and da 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 da. But you know what? He does do a lot of stuff for me and he does work really hard and I love him for it. That's how you can have a conversation with friends and get what you need off your chest without completely trash talking your relationship. You have to protect the unit. And there's some red flags to let you know when you're competing more than collaborating, okay? When you're keeping score, like I said, you're like, I did this 3 times this week and you never show up. Now we're no longer a team, okay? When you're quote unquote winning an argument, you're out here winning instead of solving them. That could be the downfall. Okay? Everything in life isn't about winning and losing. That's the whole point of a solo versus a team. Okay? The winning is when the team wins, not an isolated win. Okay? And when you're feeling like you're against each other, not for each other, huge red flag. Why am I fighting you? Why are we fighting each other rather than the situation at hand? That's how I know we're not collaborating. Being a real team is actually where the magic happens. One time my husband saw me struggling to set up an IKEA coffee table. I hate IKEA. And he didn't say, I told you couldn't do this alone, because I really tried to do it by myself because I'm an independent woman that I feel like doesn't need a man. I just want one. And he sat there and was like, she knows she can't do this alone. But he let me suffer and he let me struggle. But he didn't say, I told you so. Instead, he grabbed his own Allen wrench, handed me a beer, and got to work next to me. It was a proud moment in our relationship because he didn't make me feel stupid, even though I felt stupid trying to put it together. But he did not make me feel stupid or belittle me or anything like that. He just came in here. It was like, let's help the we. We are making a coffee table. We are going to use said coffee table. And so we are going to make it happen. And you know what makes the we better? If I call my wife down and give her a beer. That just a good man, okay? That's a team method at work, okay? So try this. The next time your partner complains about work, resist the urge to one-up them like you think your boss is bad. Instead, channel your inner cheerleader. Wow, your boss sounds like a sentient bag of trash. Want me to key his car? And now, y'all, I'm not endorsing vandalism, but the sentiment is what matters. It's sweet. So the truth is though, through all of these things, if you see the red flags, you're doing the relationship act, you're trying the team method, sometimes you just gotta fold your hand. And look, If you feel like you're the only one playing for the team, and your partner is just kind of treating the relationship like a solo sport, it might be time for a come to Jesus conversation. You try communicating things like, I need us to be partners, not just people who share a Wi-Fi password. Can we try the team method? Can we work together? Can we do all these things? You try. And after 2 to 3 months, if nothing changes, look, even Costco has a return policy, okay? Love should never feel like a solo project. Sometimes the strongest thing you can do is walk away. Not as a failure, but as self-respect. You deserve someone who shows up for the relationship like it's the last slice of pizza, okay? I am invested. I want it. I'm fighting for it, okay? We all deserve that level of greatness. Fight for yourself. Love yourself, respect yourself, have enough worth to know that you are worth somebody fighting for you like that, not fighting for themselves. So what's your homework for the week? Try the team method, okay? Touch, educate, appreciate, and metrics, even if it's just for 5 minutes and it feels super awkward. Notice what can shift. And when your partner looks confused at your sudden interest in otters holding hands, just say, podcast told me to. Blame me. I don't mind. For more advice and a place to share your wins, follow me on Instagram at breathe_easy_coaching and on TikTok at lifecoach_Jasmine. Next episode, how to fight without bringing up that thing from 2017. Until then, may your love be strong, your Wi-Fi stronger, and may someone else finally take the trash out.
Remember, you don't need permission to be great. And this is your call to rise, to reclaim your power, and to step boldly into the life you were meant to live. I believe extraordinary potential lives in all of us. The dreams we've tucked away, the voice that was softened, and the fire that's been waiting to burn bright. This journey isn't about fitting into someone else's mold. It's about shattering expectations and embracing your truest, most unapologetic self. No more shrinking or waiting for permission. The world needs your brilliance, your resilience, and your unique light. It's time to stop asking, am I enough? And start declaring, I am more than enough. Your next chapter begins now. Let's write it with courage, audacity, and unshakable belief in who you are. The unstoppable person isn't born, they're awakened. And that person is you. Now go start your revolution. This world needs your unshaken light today.